can stop me. No. 'Cause I'm addicted to what you and I realize. Lead the way, I follow. No need to say where we are heading now, babe. I follow.
We are back. Let's go. Time for another real talk with the Charlotte agent. Real estate mixtape. Well, we're going to do it today, folks. We have a good topic for today. Come on in. Come on in. We are live on YouTube. We are live on Facebook. We are live on LinkedIn. About to get it going. About to get it on. Comment section, I'm going to drop the link for those who would like to join in. Remember, if you join in, you waive all rights to privacy. Let's go. I'm not looking, but I can assure you that I'm smelling good. This is like one of my favorite beats. Like, so much more like freestyling this, but I can't keep it. So come on in. Check the YouTube. See where we at. YouTube's looking good. Facebook. Check the Facebook. Facebook's looking good. For those of you who follow the channel and are my supporters, I will be looking for moderators, so watch out for that. If you'd like to be a moderator, give me a message. Let me know. Only supporters can be moderators. No perpetrators. Then you have to do it with a Gatorade and a moderator. Say see you later. Only supporters can be moderators. Let's go. Yeah. They're coming in. Look at the YouTube. That is the light. There we go. Welcome back, everyone. I know it's been a minute since I've gone live, and I apologize for that, but I'm back, and I have rebranded. We went from Real Estate Mixtape to Real Talk, where we talk about real estate, we talk about athletics, we talk about love. I like real estate and relationships, so it's like Real Talk. But anyway, we're back, and I'm so excited to be here. So let's get it started. I'm your host, Jason Brown, the broker in charge of Jason Brown Realty here in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I do real estate not only in the Charlotte area, but the Triad area. Soon to add South Carolina. Actually, I have an agent that I partner with. So if you're looking in South Carolina, I have the agent for that. But we're going to get it going on today's topic. And we're going to go ahead and bring that up. So today's topic is for Real Talk is buying it together. Buying it together. I've been seeing a lot of people getting engaged and married, and I've had so many clients that were married couples, or they were about to get married, so they're buying a house together right before they do that. So I'm excited to be discussing this with you today, buying it together, how to buy real estate together without driving each other crazy. Because I've seen it happen. But we're going to get down to the bottom of today. So I'll give it. No, people are starting to come in, so we can go ahead and get started. Let me see here. All right, and I may bring myself back here, making myself there at the bottom. What y'all think? Maybe like something like that. All right. So buying it together. Now, this is for, let me give a disclosure, this is for couples and singles. If you're single, but you know that one day you're eventually going to be married and you're going to be purchasing that property together, whether it's investment property or your permanent residence, this is definitely for you singles. For couples, you already know what it is. Point number one, tip number one, their dream did not include you. So what we have to remember is that their dream of being your partner, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, their dream of being in their own home did not begin with you. Let me make this a little larger for you guys so you can see it. It didn't begin with you in mind. They most likely have had dreams, fantasies, and thoughts well before you came into the picture. Discover what those images were for them. Ask them. So, when you were envisioning that home, you're like, what were you saying? So, tip number one, you're going to be buying as a couple, whether now or in the future. Start communicating with your partner about, you ever thought about buying a home before? What did it look like, right? What were those images that were flashing? Because they probably have had a whole movie reel. And this is for both men and women, right? They probably had a whole movie reel of that house or multiple houses. And you want to be able to be informed as to what that was, okay? Now, in terms of what they were thinking about their home, what they were envisioning, what they were dreaming about, here's a couple things to consider. In that visualization, they were hearing how the house would sound. For example, I know a client and he was purchasing a property and he definitely wanted a big screen TV because he was into sports. So for him, envisioning himself in a home one day included the sound of sports or the sound of the fellas coming over and watching the Super Bowl or watching the NBA championships or whatever have you. Another client, a woman, she, wanted some built-in speakers so she could have that surround sound because she liked setting the mood in her home, right? So she may have had jazz or some soft kind of cafe music in the background. So ask your partner, how did the house sound, right? There was a lot of kids, there was a lot of family for family gatherings, family reunions. There's a lot of activity and music and noise for the times where you're going to be, let's say, have guests over, you're entertaining guests. How would the house smell? Most people don't think about this. That also within their vision or their partner's vision of the home they would own was a smell. It could have been the smell of cooking, it could have been the smell of sage or crystals burning or incense burning, or it just could have smelled like fresh new paint. They say it smelled like new paint. That's they probably wanting a new construction home, right? How would the house feel? Ask them, what does it feel like, right? Does it feel like a place where you could just lay your head and kind of just, relieve yourself from work? Or does it feel like a place with a lot of activity, a lot of hustle and bustle? Does it feel very tranquil or very active? And then lastly, what the house would mean. What does it mean? What was that meaning attached to the house that they were envisioning? right? What do I mean by that? Is it a safe haven for family and friends? Is it a living slash workspace where they saw themselves working from home? So they had a really elaborate office. Uh, is it, does it mean for them a space where they can pursue a passion, right? So I'm going to be, actually, I'm not going to be listing. We've already have it under contract. I'll be announcing a home that we have under contract. And this particular home has a detached garage. It's like three, I mean, it's just like three portals in that garage. It's huge. And what the meaning of that would speak very much to someone who has a hobby where they're building things or working on cars or have a painting studio or maybe even like running a business like a fitness gym or yoga studio. So, what was the meaning that was attached to it? Also, too, what was the meaning in terms of the, I would say that they've achieved a goal, right? It means a lot to them because they were able to financially afford something that they can call their own, that they like, that's beautiful, that feels like home, that's sounding a certain way, that's smelling a certain way, and etc. So remember, ask your partner because remember, their uh, initial thoughts and dreams and fantasies about the house they wanted didn't include you, right? It goes for both sides. All right. Next tip when it comes to how to buy together without driving each other crazy. What is your buying power? Now, this is going to be a little sensitive because it is very you can feel very vulnerable in this type of discussion, but who has the leverage? You need to discuss what each other's contribution will be and how much this will count in the final decision making on some items. So, example, his money, her credit. So, what is your buying power? Now, most of the time when couples are buying together, they're not on equal standing in terms of income, credit score, and debt. Those three things are going to be important. Credit score is important, but even more so, what is your debt to income ratio? That is going to equal those three things together, your buying power. Now, when couples generally are looking for the property to purchase together, they're typically looking for a property that exceeds their own individual buying power, meaning it's not something that they could necessarily afford by themselves. So let's journey into that a little bit here on tip 2.2. What is your buying power? Could you afford this by yourself, meaning without spreading yourself too thin? Could you cover the payments yourself? If so, for how long? How vital is your credit slash dollars money to getting the home? Meaning, what part will your is your credit score playing? So let's say she has a higher credit score, his is lower. Uh, However, he has the higher income, hers is lower, or vice versa. I've seen it happen both ways. That's establishing what your buying power is. And you want to establish that so that you don't go into the process of purchasing this home feeling like you don't have as much as of a say and you don't want to be made to feel like that and you don't want to be carrying that internally even though your partner is your husband, your wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever, is not they're not putting that on you, but you feel that because you just to get that, I don't know, $425,000 house by yourself, you really couldn't afford more than a 185 or a 215, right? How well did you prepare yourself prior to being in a relationship for that purchase? So many times people get in a relationship is growing, that's great. They're in love and they get married, that is awesome. kudos to you. Having not done the prior work to position themselves as strong as possible, given their income and their debt, to make the strongest purchase possible. Now, that doesn't mean that you always have to purchase at the top of your affordability. I actually encourage my clients, don't go to the top of your affordability. Leave some breathing room there. Give yourself some space for unexpected things. But how well did you prepare yourself prior to being in a relationship? I can tell you, ladies, that for the gentlemen in my circle and the gentlemen that move like me, in dating a woman that has got her ducks in order in terms of being able to maximize the buying power that she has is very, very attractive. Same thing, men. A lot of the ladies have told me, and I've been a part of panels. You can go through YouTube and Facebook, and I've just been a part of a lot of different panels and speaking and went on relationships. When you step as a man and you have your stuff in order, whether it is to purchase a $300,000 house or a $200,000 house, the fact that you have it in line and ready to go is so impressive. So if you're single, speaking to the singles now, so you may not be buying a house with your significant other tomorrow, be preparing yourself now to be in the strongest position. Good credit score, that your debt to income ratios are good, meaning knocking out a lot of those debts, especially those smaller debts, and then snowballing that into the larger ones. Tip number 3, start talking early. Let me check the comments real quick. See if anyone has put a comment here. Okay, I think good so far. Okay, tip number 3, start talking early. The earlier you all start making actionable steps to better, the better. Have your credit ran by a lender in advance of you starting the process of looking and seeing what's out there and what have you. I would suggest, if you're in a relationship that you know is substantial and there are going to be some financial decisions made jointly, as an individual, get with the lender. You can definitely hit me up anytime, message me, and I have a great lender for you, Brian Kowaleski. But have it ran by a lender, because you pulling your credit, on your phone through one of the 3 credit bureaus is not necessarily going to be the same score or dictate the same leverage you have or buying power as when a lender pulls it. Okay. So now, as you're starting the conversations, prior to you out looking and getting all excited, starting those conversations, you want to talk about those finances. I would suggest, if you're a couple, reach out to that lender, have them to pull it and look at each other's, especially if you're a married couple, right? That could be very important. There's 3 checks I hear a lot of people say that they're going to do prior to get married. They're going to check the credit, they're going to check the health, and they're going to check the criminal record, right? And that's very smart and that's very wise. But should you see that your partner has not been making the best quality decisions in terms of their spending and their finances and what have you, or the debt that they've accumulated, don't judge them so harshly, right? Because you don't want to kind of beat them down and say, where were you thinking, right? Even though you would have sometimes a right to say that, and you would be correct to say that, look forward. Saying, okay, this is where I am, this is where you are. What can we do individually? How can we take accountability of our own finances so that, we can both be in our best and strongest buying position? So that's tip number 3. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop those in. Building a new vision. So when you're buying together, you must understand, though you had a vision of what your house would be prior to meeting them, and your significant other did as well. If you're buying together, you are building a new vision. Doesn't mean you have to forget everything about yourself, but it means that you now have two individuals that are going to come together and create a new vision with parts from each, and even a third additive there that's a byproduct of your minds coming together. So start talking about your 2, 3, 5, and 10 year plan before you go looking. This is going to be very important because the home you buy for 99.9% of the people out here is going to be the largest financial purchase that you make, even if you're buying as an individual, right? Most people don't make large personal purchases where they're buying a business, right? Or they're buying something luxurious outside of real estate. So sitting down to write out a plan is a tool that many don't use, yet should use. Writing it out not only makes living those thoughts and those dreams and etc., but the plan becomes the third party arbiter, becomes the big mean monster rather than your significant other or partner. Because if you build the vision, write the vision, make it plain. Now the vision is what both of you are now accountable to. It's written out, it's been discussed, it's been modified, but you both are accountable to that vision. Okay? All right. So before we go on to 4.1, we're going to take a quick break, allow some more people to come in. I'm so glad y'all are here, and I'm so glad to be back live with you. So we're going to just take a quick 2-minute pause and allow some more people to come in, and we're going to continue on from here. All right, so we are back. Just a quick intermission there, and that's probably why I'm going to have like a commercial break. I may even do some sponsors and things like that. So, but yeah, so I have this ring light on, and it is getting me hot because I got to come with the suit and the tie. Ain't no bull jobbing around here. We dress it up, we do it up. All right, so building a new vision. Second part to tip number 4. Also look forward to creating together. If there are particulars that you both will not be able to work well on together, leave that for later. In the beginning, as you're discussing this and starting to really take seriously the possibility potential of you buying together, in the beginning, find common ground and be open-minded to you getting what you want, just maybe in a different wrapping. Do activities, and this just a quick suggestion from a lot of the panels and hundreds if not thousands of people I talk to about relationships and et cetera, et cetera. One of the ways that you as a couple can be in that groove of building a new vision together is if you do activities and or dates where you are creating together. So if you do like a paint and sip, where you're both painting 2 portions of a artwork that can fit together, or you take a cooking class. That's why I have the picture there with them cooking together. Maybe you guys can go take a cooking class and you're creating some type of pastry or some type of meal together. The more you do it together, that really kind of exercises those muscles in terms of being able to build what will later be vision together. 4.2, live on your terms. Your family and friends are not the professional. That's the lender, that's your real estate agent, right? If you're using a credit repair specialist, those are the professionals. And if your family or friends happen to be in the business, choose a professional that you can trust and lean on, like a parent or a close friend. I have had clients that their aunt was in real estate, but their aunt was in another state. They practiced real estate in another state, or they were just far away, several counties over. And it's fine to get their advice and professional input, but at the end of the day, this is you two coming together to make a decision. So you're going to have to do this on your terms because you're the one paying for it. You're the one that's going to have to live in the home. So in other words, anyone who isn't paying the bills doesn't get a vote. They can make suggestions, they can say this or that, but they don't get a vote. If the people that you're allowing in your ear seem to be about negative experiences throughout real estate, put them to the side because you have enough concerns or maybe even fears that you're going to be presenting to your real estate professional or your lender. I've had a lot of clients that, and one of the things I do well is I don't manage fears. I actually, the fears 99.9% of the time go away because I come with solutions and I give them the options. I give them the lay of the land so that every single part of the transaction, they're already well ahead and already know what's going on before it even happens. Some things come up that could be surprises, but that's why you choose a professional. All right. So yeah, the people you're allowing in your ear, if they aren't paying the bills for this, they don't get a vote. Tip number 5, let their strengths flourish brighter than yours. So what decisions does your partner feel confident in making for you both? He may be he may have a good eye for the coordination of colors and kind of interior design. She may have a great eye for how to beautify the exterior of homes in terms of the right gardening, the right type of seed grass, et cetera, et cetera. So what strengths do you have that make them a good fit for making those decisions? Right? Excuse me, what strengths do they have that make them a good fit for making those decisions? If your wife is an accountant, then the numbers she's going to be strong in, most likely, right? If he is strong in, I don't know what, in fixing things, then he may be the one that speaks more or really goes into tedious detail during the home inspection, right? Um, and also, he may be the one that's looking over the home inspection because the home inspectors I use are great. They are super, super thorough and they over deliver on what you pay them. However, they make 101 recommendations and it can be scary if you're not aware of, is this something serious or is this something minor or is it something that you just have to recommend in order to keep themselves, on record as having recommended it. So what do you like most about your significant other, your partner, and how can you incorporate that into decision process? If she has a great eye for detail, let's say she's the one that's strong in colors this time, or interior design or decorating, whichever one. Hey, if you love that about her, then say, hey, in purchasing the house, I want you to take the lead in that because you have a great eye. You know how to lay things out. I just can just tell you what it is that I like, and you know how to bring it together. Then empower your significant other with that, and then encourage them. Be there to support them. Make sure you're excited about them making decisions because they're good in that area, or you trust them in that area, et cetera, et cetera. So as we keep it going, decide which losses you can live with. Now, this is one of my favorite points of this presentation. If you know something is a definite must have in your home, then let that be known up front and establish if that is something that can be achieved in the beginning or if you may need to come later. For example, I have great couple clients. I'm actually the agent for their family, done several transactions with several members of the family. And this particular couple, she wanted a huge window, like that extends almost from the floor to the ceiling, and she wanted it on a really high ceiling. So that's going to be on the first floor. Now, that's something that, given it's a must have, we need to have that when we initially purchase the home. Because to do that, it's going to be super, super expensive. If you buy a home that, though it has high ceilings, but doesn't have that large window, I mean, it could be a headache trying to get that done later with the contractor. And as I said, very expensive. So, what are the must haves? And I'm going to give you a formula that can help keep you both leveled and balancing your must haves versus your loves, what you love versus what you like versus what you can live with. But now, if the must have is something that can come later, make sure your partner feels secure that that's not going to just get pushed off to the side and never accomplished. I've had another client, his thing is he likes cigars. So, though they didn't have to outfit a patio area prior to purchasing the home for that, it was definitely something that they need to do, were going to do, he wanted to do once they closed on the home and they were actually doing a new construction. So they had decisions leading up to that. They already had assessment of funds and things like that that were going to be put aside so that they can have the chairs, have the grills, have the tables, and all that good stuff out there and ready to go. Let me check the YouTube real quick. Make sure we're still good. Looking good on that. All right, awesome. So decide which losses you can live with. And we'll go a little deeper into that in a second. Be committed to their top 3 must-haves. And I would say 2 or 3. Let me modify that, 2 or 3. And you'll see that later in the formula. If you know something is a definite must-have, let that be known up front. Once again, establish it. That is something that can be achieved in the beginning. It may need to come later. But you, as one of the individuals buying with your significant other, be committed to their top must-haves, 2 or 3. And they need to be committed to your top must-haves, top 2 or 3 must-haves. That way, you're looking out for each other. That when you're going into now the process of buying and you're looking at homes, I have her must-haves in mind, and she has my must-haves in mind. Okay. So, what do you love? What do you like? What can you live with? That's going to help you take all the things that are in your mind that you want to see or would like to see and prioritize them properly. Is this a must-have? Is this something that I would love to have, something I would like to have, and something I can live with? If it's something that you can live with, it's there. You're not going to focus on that. If you can live with, TVs on the patio, you could care less if there's TVs on the patio or what type of furniture is on the patio. Your thing is the office space. Office space, you got to have a certain lighting, some built-in shelving, maybe a certain type of flooring. Then focus on that and articulate that, communicate that to your significant other. And one of the things that's going to help you in arranging the priorities of things is assign a value. When it comes to purchasing a home, the most important thing is the monthly payment, meaning affordability. Okay. It's very frustrating when couples or one of the persons in that relationship continues to allow random factors to upset the more important things. Make sure to keep first things first. Stop adding different shortcomings. Only add benefits. An example, I've taken couples out and I already know what their must haves are, what their loves, their likes, and can live with. I have it out. I know exactly what they're looking for. And as we go to the house, I have my checklist. See if it's checking it off for both parties. And then the comments are, well, how far is it from this or that? Or, one day I may want to go whitewater rafting. How far is it from the whitewater rafting center, here in Charlotte? This or that. You can't keep adding things in because you're only going to be allowing these new variables to upset start weighing as much as what truly should be priority. So when it comes to purchasing as a couple, the most important thing you need to focus on, which should count the most out of 100%, what leverage, what weight should this count? 30% monthly payment. You want to be in a position where you feel comfortable, where you can afford it. And if you go for what you want, it's a little tight, that's fine. But you just know that going in. Location, that should count, let's say 20%, 20 points, right? Location, location, location. We've all heard that. Layout, 15%. Must-haves, 10%. Your top two for each of you. And we'll get to that formula in a second. Optional ideas. So it's not a must-have, but you know that you want to host some events at your property. So a deck, right? It's not a must-have now, but that's going to be an option down the line, maybe within the next year or two or three. That's going to count 10%. Family opinions, 5%. Do not purchase a house trying to impress your family. This is the house for you and your significant other. Friends' opinions. You're not purchasing the house for your friends. Right? Don't try to keep up with the Joneses and keep up with this person and that person. Even if yours is smaller, it's something you want to do jointly, together as one, and that is your place, and it means the world, and it should mean the world to you both, because you have to live there, you have to feel comfortable there. Also, distance to leisure places, that kind of falls in line with, well, how far is this from the Panther Stadium, right? Well, you haven't gone to a Panthers game in forever. And if you do go, it's only here or there. It's not like you're a season ticket holder and you're going to be there every game. So don't allow that to come in. If it does, it's going to be at the very, very bottom. You're concentrating on payment, location, layout, must have, and then your optional ideas. Okay? Moving forward. 7.1. Now, here's the formula. A good formula for making sure that each one of you has what is most meaningful to you, them, individually in the home. Here's the formula to use. Each of you get 2 must-haves. His must-have, I'm in a fraternity, and I've had some clients that their must-have was a red room. It's one of the colors for the fraternity. 2 colors are crimson and cream. Yo to the Newts. But he had to have his red room. That's where he had all his Kappa stuff. If I've had some clients that members of Omega Psi Phi fraternity. Shout out to the Q Dogs. He had to have his purple room, right? If she's a Delta or AKA, you see where I'm going with that. Whatever the must-have is, communicate that. And out of, let's say, 3 or 4 must-haves. You get to, I get to. The things that you love, write those out. They're not must-have, but the things that you really love, you really like, you like to see it in your house. You get to, I get to. The things that you like, you get to, I get to. And then here's the key thing in the formula here at the end. To live with, given to the other person. What do I mean by that? From the list that they have for likes, not must have, not love, but likes. If there's anything on that list that you don't particularly like, but you can live with, identify what that is on their list and let them know that if those things present themselves, you're cool with it. So, for example, they may want a garage that has a barrier there. It's a 2-car garage, but it's not one garage door. It's actually 2 separate doors. It's not a must-have for her. It's not something that she loves, but she really likes it. Now, for you, like you rather just have one full door, right? Especially you have to back things in at an angle and stuff. However, you can live with it, then add that to the list as her like that you're giving to her, one of the 2 of her likes that you're giving to her because you can live with it and you'll be fine. All right. And I believe we're coming near the end here. A happy wife does not always equal a happy life. What do I mean by that? Yes, there is some validity to this, but more often than not, it places the other, meaning in this particular scenario, the guy, as one who knows that their decision doesn't matter as much. Happiness is your responsibility, so make sure you take personal accountability of that and communicate that to each other so that you both can be the other's reminder to do what makes the other happy. What do I mean by that? Yes, let's say in this scenario, happy wife, happy life, she can be happy and that's great. But if I'm going unheard, if I feel like I don't have decision making, if I know that I'm bringing a lot of money to the table too, as we're combining it, I want to have, I want to be heard and know that I get something out of this deal too, right? I'm contributing to this mortgage. So it's not just about one person's happiness or over the other. Whatever it is that is going to make you happy in the home, whether it's built-in surround sound, because you want to be able to hear the music throughout the house, or whether it is a particular type of stove, gas or electric, whatever's going to make you happy, articulate that to your significant other so that they're well aware of it and you can build on that together. So there we go, folks. I am done. Are there any questions? Let me check the comments. Check the Facebook. I don't see any questions in there, so I think we're good on that. Let me go to, the YouTube. Didn't see any questions or comments there. Facebook, we're good. So that's it, folks. We are good to go. Thank you so much for joining me on Real Talk. And please, yes, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm back. We're going to be consistent, have a lot of great content about real estate, about relationships, even about athletics. We're going to add some of that in there. So subscribe to the YouTube channel at thecharlotteagent.com if you're watching me from Facebook. If you're watching me from YouTube, head over to Facebook. Like the page, follow the page, The Charlotte Agent there as well. If you have Instagram, The Charlotte Agent there as well. It's the same. So we are fully branded across all platforms. If you're on LinkedIn, definitely connect with me, Jason Brown Realty, The Charlotte Agent. And thanks so much, people, for joining me here. It's been a lot of fun. I'm so glad that I'm back. And I'm just going to cue up some of this music and no, I'm not going to try to freestyle. So Please say it's been dope. Hope it's helpful. Share this video with your significant other. And when you're ready to look for that house, that townhome, that condo, that investment property, those multi units, whatever you need, hit me up. It's our agent. Peace.